Okay. So, hello everyone, and welcome to another powerful episode of The Voyage. This is a podcast hosted by the COG Grand Radio. And in this podcast, we'll be doing a deep dive into real stories behind the courage, sacrifices, and resilience of migrants who have come to the UK with a dream and are fighting real hard and doing great things just so that they can make that dream become a reality. So I am your host, and my name is Chima Chiaka, and today we'll be exploring certain things and the sacrifices that have been made by the CEO of Bondlife, a health, fitness, and wellness entire package. I will also be talking about the cultural shocks that she had experienced, as well as the failures that nearly broke her. And of course, her resilience, why she's one of the up and coming and fastest rising and the biggest fitness coach in the entire northeast of England. So, my guest today, I'll be handing over the mic to my esteemed guest. Please introduce yourself, ma'am.
Wow. Um, thank you, Chima. My name is Ruth, and I have awareness community, and of course, I coach people just like you have said. Um, I am a Nigerian and also a British,
Wow.
so it has been it feels so real to say that I'm a British now. It's it's just something that I added few months ago, and I find it's a privilege to come into this to be here and to be given the opportunity to be aired on air.
Wow, fantastic. So you have chased the British dream, and yes, now that you are officially British, before we explore that side of life, pardon me, I'd like to take the our listeners on a journey as to um how you achieved the British dream. So first of all, take us to the beginning, because I know that before you became British, you came from somewhere in Africa, and so tell us, like you said you're Nigerian.
Yeah.
How was it back home in Nigeria? How did it all begin? What made you
Who
stand
I
up to say,
am.
okay, let's
Okay.
let's um
Let me
let's do this.
Okay. I would say that, like I said before, I'm from Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria, in the eastern part of, I'm from Enugu State. I was born from the eastern part of Nigeria. Well, I wasn't born in Enugu State. I was born in Benue State, and that is a state in Nigeria. And I was raised up by a single mom. She was married, but she lost her husband. And I am the last child of a family of seven. And it's life back then was a bit of a struggle, but that's actually made me who I am. At a very tender age, I started dreaming because I wanted a better life. I wanted a life that is free from tears, free from sorrow, free from poverty, yeah, because I was raised by in a very low background. And even though we didn't have that much as a child, my mom believes in us raising us as children who have contentment. Why, whatever thing you are doing, you do it with passion and be the best at what you are doing. And the way life happened, it made me to who I am, because in when I was 7 years old, there was a sudden shift in my family that changed. It was as if everything collapsed, right? My mom, my elder sister, who was very brilliant, had a mental breakdown when she was writing her
Oh,
WAEC. And then that changed everything. It made me grow up so fast. Even as the youngest, that position was changed for me. We moved from Benue State down to the east because my mom of course needed to give support to my sister. And that time, when you hear about someone who has mental breakdown, it's a different thing. Most times people don't get diagnosed. They just take them I remember we took her to the hospital, you know, being recommended by a doctor to tell you to move a child from hospital to different spiritual houses. I'm a Christian, so I don't want to say that it's not good to go to the house of God, because this very experience changed things for us. It brought us closer to God. However, I feel like it wasn't handled properly. My sister's mental health deteriorated so bad that we had to become her carer almost for life. So that made me a different person. I am dogged. It appears like I'm a very dogged person. I'm a very resilient person, but I feel like I was robbed of my childhood. I didn't have a good childhood experience. I had to stay with my grandmother who was blind, and most of the times I had to go to the market to buy her stuffs and that. So this is just a little background of what my childhood was. I was always out there. By 11 years, I was already a business person, helping buying and selling stuffs. And yes, I had a lot of nice people around me, especially in the church. So for me, church has been that major community. And that's why here now, I don't play with community, because I know some people are not Christians and they may find it hard. So I'm building Bondlife to give people who might take time to understand God the opportunity to come into a community, because you need a community to function. You need people to cry on when things are hard. And I had friends. I had my husband, who was my friend, who was my church brother then. It wasn't a romantic relationship. We don't even know about romance then. He has been my childhood friend from primary school up to the level we finally decided to marry. So church, Christ has done a lot for me, but people in church has been a very great support. And I think, Bond Life has always been in me, because I know that many people are going through challenges. Many people are going through childhood trauma, maybe from family experience. I remember when some days, some Christmas, when we would just cry because why? My sister is not there. My sister has opened the door and left. It's it's a part I don't like talking about, but it's a conversation that we are not too comfortable to talk about, especially in Africa, because when we talk about mental health illnesses, it is regarded as if someone is possessed, you are demonic, or that you had a problem, especially for women, in my own culture, from my place, when a woman has mental breakdown, it is regarded as if need to heroko, that you have cheated, right? And the universe, the gods are punishing you for that. So there is lack of awareness in this area. And up to now, I traveled to Nigeria. Up to now, people still they don't have enough knowledge for that. So that's how Bond Life started. Um, yes, the community has been in me. I have this passion to make a difference from childhood. I want to build something so big without anything, but I knew it was going to come. And it started from childhood. When I talk to people, they feel better. They call me psychologist, But then I also have passion about food because I've always believed, I have always have this passion about healing people through food. I know that. I don't know. Even before I went to school, I know that somehow when you eat healthy, you will become better.
That's true.
Because I've seen many people within my community, no, from my home, like extended family members, in-laws suffer with some health challenges growing up. You see people have wounds that are not healing. And then the question is, what is causing it? Right? And then it was later that I discovered from secondary school, I started doing home economics, and I just found out that home economics was something I enjoyed doing because it was about food, it was about creativity and things that you can just do without spending so much. So when I did my secondary school, SS2, SS class, I started doing food and nutrition. And then I did food and nutrition with so much passion, like that my examiners, when they come, they will be like, oh, you are so good with this. And they ask me, what is my passion about this? Why am I doing this? I would always say that I believe that food can heal. So all the things they taught me then helped me. And my mentor, secondary school mentor, told me, because I was a bit confused, I was confused. Should I do medicine? He said, what I see in you is not just you can do. I did not know about functional medicine then, but you can do something that is related to food. So you know everything about food. And that is not just food and nutrition. It is then food science. So that's how I went to the university. I did my OND HND in food science. That's 5 years. Went back again in the university and did my PGD in food science, graduated with distinction, and then I moved to England and did food production management. So it has been
Wow.
food. When I tell you that I have passion about coaching, it is beyond just what is it? There's something, is it a serendipity or just a sudden change? It is food is me. The science of food has always been in me. So no matter how much I try to deviate or change or this, I'll still come back to that.
Mhm.
So I have studied food. I have analyzed food. I know, I know, and then I am understanding the psychological aspect of food. Why do people behave the way they behave when it comes to food? So this is what I'm doing now as a coach, even without being a psychologist. So when people said, I see you are a psychologist, I am now a counselor. I do a lot of things. I tell you, when you eat this, you become better. When you eat this, you add weight. When you eat this, you feel better. This is me understanding human behavior just because I have had passion about this. And all of this is connected.
Right.
So I don't know. This is
Uh,
my upbringing, and if you it will help me if you ask all these question bits, because I think I've covered who I am. And
Exactly, because what you have just done is you've just run through the entire length of the interview processes.
yes,
But, however,
yeah,
from what you said, something struck me as phenomenal. The scripture that, as we're talking, just popped into my head. That's Proverbs 22, verse 6, which says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he comes of age, he will not depart from it. He or she will not depart from it." Now, it's very important, because when you talked about the impact of your mother and
yeah,
the influence she had on you, I can see how it influenced you being a very responsible child. So that at 11 you were able to do most of the things you did. You were able to support your sister. Then when you talked about the stigma about, I understand it. I understand the
yeah,
Nigerian, especially the Nigerian West African perception. And interestingly, even though we are predominantly, I dare say, 98% of us are Christians from the southeastern part of Nigeria, that's the Igbo-speaking tribes of Nigeria. Interestingly, wherever as Christian, as religiously Christian as we are, we do not seem to have enough of the biblical references to correct certain notions, mental notions. For instance, see this, the case of the man who was born blind, as seen in John 9:2 from verse 2 to 3, and where people, the same, you can see the same kind of mindset of people say, who
Yeah.
sinned? Was it the father or
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
mother? And just was
Exactly.
like, nobody sinned. But this thing
No,
was
it's
done
not
so
a
that they.
sin.
So you see, what I'm trying to buttress is we can be religious, but with a zeal to how is the Bible saying, a zeal to go, but with no knowledge of it. You
Yeah, we
understand?
can
We
be
do not
religious and
yet
be ignorant.
lacking in wisdom.
And the
Do you
Bible says
understand?
that our people perished because of lack
Lack
of
of knowledge.
knowledge. Yeah.
Because now look at you. All these experiences have built up now to who you have become. You're now a mental health coach. Because I was speaking with someone, I was like, I think it's very important that we start sending certain courses. This is one of I really appreciate the privileges and the opportunities that the United Kingdom has provided to a lot of us Nigerians.
Yes,
And because
yes.
it has illuminated certain aspects, autism, mental health, um,
Disability.
disabilities, learning disabilities, trigger
Mm.
points and everything. So I'm like, I think there's a need for us to pass those courses back home to Nigeria. So when people
Yeah.
read about it, they can know that we are not all the same. Certain things can trigger certain things to
Yeah.
manifest in
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Um, so that we don't deviate
Exactly.
though. So that we don't deviate though. You've talked about a lot. You've talked
Mm.
about I want us to talk. I want us to talk about your sacrifices that you did when you came into the United Kingdom. Or unless you're one of the privileged few that arrived
No.
and you bought your house, you got your
No.
Lamborghini, you go, where's this place? Is it Pontyland? Pontyland area, all these tush areas. You said so. Tell us, what sacrifice did you have to do to integrate into the society? What sacrifice did you have to make? Did you have to sit at home while your
Mm.
husband went to work, or did you have
Yeah.
to work while he worked? What were those sacrifices you have to make?
Okay.
That phase of your life.
For me, the first sacrifice was leaving my mom back
Mm.
home, because like in my family we are close knitted and we have served God together. So being a last child, I did not think that I have never left my mom apart from school. I've slept with my mom up to the time that my husband married me. So, I don't know how to be hey God. Are we here?
Yes, we're here. We can hear you.
What is happening? My team is booting. I can't see you.
I can
But
see. I can hear you clearly.
okay.
Clearly, yeah.
We are checking off teams for you. Okay, so the sacrifices that my mom, one of the sacrifices is actually coming here and leaving my mom behind.
Yeah, we can hear
Okay,
you.
just give me the echo so that I will know that you are here because.
No, we can hear you clearly.
Okay,
Very
okay,
clearly.
okay. So one of the sacrifices is leaving home and coming here because my mom meant everything to us. And then when I came, I felt this shock because everything changed. It didn't feel the same. The community I had back home was not there. And childcare, I was faced with childcare. When I had children back home, I was still going to school. I would drop my kids off. My mom would always come around. My mother-in-law, they would stay like 1 year, caring for my children. So I had two children and I never knew what motherhood felt like postpartum depression or anything. They had nothing on me because of that community. My mom is like 15 minutes to where I was living. My mother-in-law 10 minutes. My sister-in-law, everybody lived in the same vicinity. So it's just like 10 minutes, 5 minutes drive away from us. But then coming from Nigeria to here was like uprooting a tree.
A support system was no longer there.
So I was just planted just here with my husband. It was a breakthrough for us to come here, of course, because I've always had a dream. My husband promised me a better life to bring me in England. That was one of the that was one of many promises he gave me before we got married, right?
At least let's pick this one up as yes, done.
So, and then we came here. So when I came, it was hard. The first few weeks I came into the country, I was lonely. I was I was depressed. So I would roll my eyes and count the ceiling, everything, the lines written in the ceiling several times because I was scared of the future I had in England. I was just very unsettled. And then the reality came, I got job, and then I was hit with a different kind of cultural shock. You have to do everything by yourself.
Yeah.
You need to team up with your husband and do
Yeah.
everything. So some days it was like cat race, relay race. When I am passing the key to my husband on the bus stop, and he's catching his own to the library because he was the one doing his PhD.
Oh wow.
And then it was a big pressure because if I had to do night shifts, I had to do care because that was the only thing that helped me to stay back to take care of the kids. So I can't do any day shift now as he's going to school every day for his PhD, and he's also facing pressure as well in school. So that thing made me to be isolated. The only thing I could do was go to school, go to work, come back, stay with the kids. Why? So most of the times I don't even see my husband except on maybe during the weekend. And that thing is not easy. It can make someone go crazy. It affects a lot of women, a lot of people when they come in, because even a small problem can escalate. It can affect relationship, it can affect your mental health, it can affect who you are as a person. Then you have to pay the bills, of course. And we did not come and started living where we are living here. We had to start with Otters Hill area. It's not bad, but the place we were living had damps,
All right.
So these are the sacrifices, because you want a cheap apartment. At least when you pay, you'll be able to manage for the rest of the months. And then you have people to care for as well back home, because they think you are making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we have to think about the visa as well. You are not just saving for bills.
Yeah.
You're not just saving for the school fees. Okay, my husband has scholarship, of course. Yeah, so, but the bills there to take care of the family as well is something else, a different story. And that starting point was difficult. Sometimes you need a proof of fund, and this is hard. A lot of people I know have passed that stage, but when you talk about people who newly arrived here, you can see how they are struggling. If they tell you that it is hard, you need to understand that it is actually hard. But the advice I can give people who are in that stage now is that it gets better with time. You just need to now. It's no longer. I won't say all the overtimes. I can still do it if I want to have a target for something, right? But it's no longer that bad, because some of those financial burdens has reduced. Now we are living in our home. Of course, you keep paying, isn't it? So
Yeah.
this life is you have to live to survive. But those some of the challenges is no longer how it is. So it gets better. It gets better. My husband is no longer a student. I did my master's. I'm no longer a student as well. So now it's like taking care of the kids. It gets better. The kids are also growing. They can do most things for themselves. But I know that if you have underage children, like below 5 and 2 years and 1 years old, it's usually not easy because childcare, to pay for childcare is not easy. So you have to walk around with your spouse. And the sacrifices you need to pay is just have a focus, have a target. Within 2 to 3 years, this is what I want us to achieve. If you know that this period is going to be hard, do not overthink it, because if once you lose that bond between your spouse, you start struggling. And no matter how the pressure is, always come back and check. Come back and check that you are moving as a team with your spouse. And if you are
I
a okay.
sorry. You keep saying my spouse, my spouse. Then at the first part of the interview, you talked about how he was your friend. Um, I want to ask you a question. I learned there was back then when I was a lot much younger, or a long time ago, when late Pastor Bimbo Dukoya used to have the singles and married meetings every Thursday or every Monday.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Mm,
we used to with them where like we needed to know what we needed to do for the
mm,
marriage institution, because it wasn't just an anyhow thing. It was something we needed to know what's going on in there. They should come, and there was something she always say. But late Pastor Bimbo Duduke of blessed memory, she'd always quote in scripture, Proverbs 18:24, and she'll say this thing. Says, he that would he that wants a friend, a man that he that would have friends, must first of all show himself as friendly. Now
mm-hmm.
this brings me to a question to you. How did you meet? Because you talk about a young love, and the reason
Yeah,
why I'm bringing this question to you is because right here in the United Kingdom we see a lot of singles who are searching for love,
yeah, yeah.
and they
It's
search
a
for it in all the wrong places. But you talked
mm,
about you becoming friends in church, and you
yeah.
guys never even thought about
No,
becoming.
no.
So can
Yeah.
we just let's just zero in on how did it start in church?
Okay.
Then what were you guys doing? Then how did you guys meet really? Let's just a
Yeah.
little bit of romance story.
Yeah. I would go back to when I asked my husband this question, he would think about it. But the only time that we remember meeting, right, was outside the church. It wasn't a church day, it wasn't a Sunday day. My husband was living with his sister, and he normally came from a different town to my town, but he was coming to our local church then, Assemblies of God Church. So I remember seeing him in front of our church, even though I know he has been a church member, but that's the only memory I have of us becoming friends. So the first question he asked me was, I was in my primary six, right?
Wow.
Yes,
In
that's
primary.
as far I've known my husband all my life.
Wow.
So I was in my primary six, and I remember him asking me what I was, if I was ready, if I was prepared for my school SAT, primary school common entrance.
Wow.
that was that was the first conversation I had with my husband. And then he told me, I will get you some materials to prepare for
Wow.
my exam. So
Wow.
that's the romance story between me and my husband. He has been the greatest support I have in life. He has been my academic mentor, right?
Oh,
So our friendship was not he was more like a friend, a brother in church. And then that was it. He is someone who has always supported my dream. If I tell him, this is what I want to do. When I grow up, I want to have this platform to coach the youths, to encourage people to do better. He'll say, why not? You can. So my husband has always listened to me. And because he studied English, he taught me English. Whenever I'm preparing for my WAEC or JAM, he is always there. My GCE, he's always there to give me a nudge to prepare me for my English exams. And that's how we got close. And it was what helped us was we were Christians. So we had boundaries. And he set the standards so high that no matter how I go away from him, I will still compare any other man that comes to my life or any other person that comes into my life with him. I would say, okay, this person likes me, right? But this one, my husband does this for me and he has never asked me for SES. So why will I follow this other person? This friendship was built in spirituality. Was our foundation. And then we were friends and brothers. We had a lot of things in common. And that's why even when I knew when he went to university, he was there when I finished. And everything I've done, he has never pressured me to be who I am not. So it's good to build friendship before marriage, but people find love differently anyways. But
Okay.
whatever thing you want to do, that is my advice to any single out there listening to this, is that whoever you meet, you don't know who will be your partner or your
Yeah.
spouse
Yeah.
tomorrow. Always try to leave a good impression on people. Be a kind person. Help people without having something in mind for return. Just be a nice person. That's how it is. And naturally, friendship is easy when you are not too selfish.
Yeah.
The world is too self-centered, they don't care. But when you invest in people, just sow a seed in them, show them who you are, be vulnerable to them. I cried to my husband's shoulder. He listened to me when I was young. And then that's how helped me. No matter what he does to me now, I will always go back to those days where he pays attention to me, and it has helped our relationship. So building
Interesting.
friendship is very important in
Interesting.
any relationship and in any marriage.
Interesting. Okay, so for the singles listening in on this, I would like to hear from you what you think about this and everything we've talked about, us being single and finding love in the right places. Um, I have a question for you. Very briefly, and just one thing. What has been your greatest culture shock in the United Kingdom? What was it that is, man, that is different from here and where you came from? So what is it, the good mornings, and what's been the greatest culture shock for you? Just one.
I didn't know that it's the English for me.
Mm.
The language, right? So I started from a care home, and when I went, I was shocked that some people couldn't speak the standard English that I was raised up to speak. So like I don't know how to present this so that it doesn't sound like, but
So
when
what you're trying to say is that the versions of English
so variety
was
of English.
different.
My husband doesn't agree with me because he's an English teacher, but I was disappointed that I thought when I come here I would see that I didn't know that there is a different accent of English, a different variety of English. I love Geordie accent. I love the different, just like there is a variety of
It was
languages.
just a
Igbo.
shock to you to
It
discover
was
that it wasn't.
a shock to say
It
that
wasn't as you thought it to
me
be.
is, when I'm saying me or us is actually me. Us
Yeah.
is actually me. Us that I know is plural, but someone can say us, me, mom. Do you understand?
Yeah.
This was a shock to me.
Mm.
And, but it's, and also people really don't care that much. So you can just pass someone and they don't care. They don't care about, they don't greet you. Back home, who are you to pass an elder without saying, without kneeling down and saying good morning, sir, but like you would even greet someone and they don't really look at you. Nobody cares. Everybody is busy.
So
Well, some people
those are the
care.
different
These are the,
cultural values between the Nigerian people and the British people. Okay.
and then
So
the food shock as well.
okay.
So back home, you see akara, okpa, things like that everywhere. But when I entered, it was actually the first time I entered plane. So when I entered plane, I got to Ethiopia area, Ethiopia, and then I started seeing different food. The only thing that was similar to what to my taste bud is fish and chips. So I ate chips. I was hungry throughout till I arrived in England. So imagine that in 24 hours, when I got here, my husband's friend cooked food for us, a very nice meal. And I ate and I was like, wow, so this kind of food is in this country, like, because I was very hungry. And then there was no place to, you can't just see someone selling akara or anything like that. Things are changing anyway, but it's not, there's no open market. Everything was in the mall. I know the markets, it's just different. There are a lot of differences. The markets and everything was timed as well.
Oh yeah.
So you take the bus and the bus is 7:40 and you come, it has to
You
be
better be
7:40.
there
If
by
you have to be
7:40.
there before. So I started jogging because if you miss that bus, the next bus you have to wait.
15, 30
And there's
minutes.
no story. You can't. There are things that I learned in Britain. You can't just say sorry to someone when you know that you are supposed to do something, you are lacking in your responsibility. You have to do something. Sorry doesn't solve problems. So instead of coming to work late or doing something wrong, why not do it properly and avoid saying sorry? Saying sorry is that you are taking accountability of what you have done. And because you have said sorry, it doesn't mean that you will not be queried for that.
Yeah.
You have to. So it's a good shock, but I felt it when I come. The time, the transport system, it was organized, very
Oh yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
and you don't have to. Then the cold as well. Well, the weather. I came in summer around August. Then why was it so bright around 10 p.m.?
10 p.m.
Why was it? And then you don't sleep enough. 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. It's already bright. And it was feeling like I was in a different world. So it took time for me to start adjusting, but I did not adjust enough. And winter came.
And
So
give you a shocker.
4 p.m. we're already in a dark.
Dark.
So 4 p.m. Then what again? By 8 a.m. it's still dark. So those are the things that made me feel like I was in a different place. Sometimes it took me time to readjust. But then, yes, we
Mhm.
have been doing it, and it
Yeah.
is so beautiful that now I am now sweating, And
Mm.
before I wouldn't sweat normally, but it is hot.
Okay. Okay.
and
So
and I'm enjoying it. I like how the British people talk about talk about the weather. Oh, it's too cold today. Tomorrow is too hot. The weather is so horrible. I enjoy it.
Mm,
It's a
okay,
cultural differences, but I'm getting to adapt to it.
that's
And
lovely. All right, so that takes me to the question that leads to the core of this of the podcast. Um, you talked about being in the care sector, and
yeah,
then now you are now Bond Life.
yeah,
Yeah, I want you to tell us at what point did you make up your mind that
yeah.
okay, Bond Life should become a reality? To tell us very, very briefly about just 1 minute about your support experiences, then let us know, oh, this is when it happened to me. Then let's now explore what Bond Life is about
Okay.
and what you are doing currently for the community.
Yeah. So Bond Life has always been in me, like I said,
Yeah.
but everything became a bit clearer in 2022 when um I was with the kids, and I in 2021 ending, I had what I would call depression. At some point, my husband needed to go home and for his career, and I was with the kids alone. So jumping from one end to the other, doing childcare alone was a bit difficult for me. And I did not know that I was breaking down. There was no word for that. But I am just a woman who was moving like a train, non-stop, from end to end. So I started realizing that change when my husband finally came back to stay with us permanently. And then I remember one day I broke down. The day he arrived, I became sick. Do you understand?
Wow.
So even though I've been sick, I wasn't noticing it. But who can you be sick for? You have three children. One was I was still breastfeeding then. Who will you be sick for? The three children, nobody else. Like I had friends and carers that helped me walk around it. So it was then that I started speaking up. So when my husband came, I noticed what happened. There were so many other things that happened that period, but I realized that something has hit me hard. And if that man didn't come that time, I would have maybe ran mad or something, or had a mental breakdown. So I know many people are struggling as well with childcare, with work, with bills. So when I finally understood what I was going through, I needed to create this community. First of all, during this period, I added so much weight. So it was the highest weight size I've had. I was around 100 and something kg.
With
And
all the
then
stress.
with all the stress, because of
Wow.
course,
You think you drop weight with the stress?
stress increases cortisol level, and then it made me stress eat. So what was
Oh
I
wow.
eating? I'll buy big Coke and just drink it, drink myself
Wow.
to tiredness, ate bread too much, just ate. When I felt stress, I will eat, 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 eat.
Wow.
It's part of eating disorder, right? Some people overeat when they have stress and they are going through depression. So I started knowing this. I started speaking to people who I respected because I was trained to keep things. Apart
Mm.
from my husband, I always told things. Always been I've listened to others, but I don't share that
All
much.
right.
And that was weighing me down. But that period, I had to speak to people I respected, people I worked with, and it helped me to heal. And then something helped me, and that is how Bond Life came about. I started working out.
Oh, wow.
on my
Okay.
own. I started working out. I'm a food scientist, so I know that when I drink Coke and eat bread alone, that I will be fat. But the will was not there because I never cared. I wasn't bothered. That's the word. I wasn't bothered. What can get worse? Do you understand? So that's
Yeah.
what. And so we're just surviving. But one day I had to speak to myself. I looked at myself in the mirror and I said I wanted a better life for myself. I wanted a healthier me. I remember walking to the hospital one time and they told me, like, I missed my period for a couple of weeks, not because months, not because I was pregnant. So I went to my doctor and they said, oh, it could be because you have early menopause. I was 30. I was still not. How can you tell me that I'm having early menopause? Why? I knew that my lifestyle was bad. So these are signs of polycystic ovarian syndrome and all that. So I had to hormonal dysfunction. Having hormonal dysfunction and stress can impact on your reproductive health as well. So I wanted the best for myself and I started daily workout, morning and night, morning and night. What? Movement. I started, I didn't start with diet, but I stopped taking over processed drink, all this artificial drinks, and I I started drinking water, just eating my normal meal, and I discovered that something changed. I became more aware. My confidence, I started smiling, laughing. So the route now, okay, you are meeting now is the laughing route, right? The happy person, I can make people, but it paused at a time. And all these things built from 2019, 2020. COVID shock, I had my baby, a lot of stress piled up, motherhood, parenting, they all grew up into my head. I'm still going to church, so I'm not, it's not like I'm not going to church, but I was not there. My mental health affected a lot. But when I started the workout, I started being self-aware, self-care, believing
All right. I,
in
I,
myself. Daily.
oh, sorry, pardon my interjecting, because you're talking about the workout. So I have also talked about the birth of One Life. When do you now evolve into a community?
I started from myself, morning, afternoon, and night, and I started posting it because I don't
Ah,
have a community. I started posting it on Facebook
all right.
so that people will know that I'm doing something and I will not relapse. So when I did it for 1 month, I started seeing results. That was in 2022. 2023, it was okay. It was going well. So I wasn't thin, but I was losing weight and I was getting my confidence back.
Mm.
So I became healthy. I started talking confidently again.
Yeah.
Because I've never been a shy person, but that point when I was depressed, I was shy. But in 2024, I came to Facebook with all my confidence now. And I know something happened in my company that made me to, there was some challenges, right? I had to pause work for 1 month. So something came back. Bondlife. I remember one of my friends, Beatrice, not Beatrice, her husband, Uchenegu. He said, I see all the write-ups you make on Facebook. You talk to people about relationship. You coach, I've been doing relationship coaching as a charity for a very long time. So he said, you write these, people engage, why not create your community? So it wasn't the way he said it, but there are people who talk to you and it now brings out the best from you. So that was how that period, I just I just asked that I want to help people. That was how I started. The passion is to help more women to come out of where I was, because I know many women have problem with their body image, because some women go through a lot, stress and childhood problem that affects their confidence, body changes, they add weight, some can get sick. So I asked, and many people asked to join. That was how I started that free coaching community. And since 2024 till now, I've coached more than, I've coached people in hundreds. So a lot of people have come through me, and their lives have been transformed. That is how Bond Life came. And I could see the power of mindset shift.
Um, I just want to interject a bit because I know you've had some events. They had mothers come out to the park with children, and I was monitoring it, and I was like, wow, this is a movement. Do you understand?
Yeah,
Then now you're
yeah,
about to have another one, another event where you're encouraging families to come out to the park.
yeah.
Um, we're about to round up now. Can you briefly tell us what made you do that mothers gathering? You know, when I saw mothers all coming out with prams and queuing up and having fun and talking, I was like, these women are not with their husbands, they're having fun. And you
Yeah,
know, in my mind, I was like, they need some headspace to do other things other than being caged up in the house.
yeah.
So what's triggered that particular movement, and why are you doing the other one in the park with
So,
where everyone is supposed to come? And what date is it so that we can all know and all
okay,
plan to be there?
okay. For Bond Life is a community wellness, a wellness community, or wellness community, yeah, which helps a lot of people. I don't want to sell Bond Life as just a women thing, because I started with a women, because I am a woman. I believe that everybody can be healthy. Everybody needs to be healthy. But sometimes we lack that health. So where we have lacked that awareness. So calling out breastfeeding mom or postpartum mom to come to the park, and then at the point I had to say, okay, it is, some people said, called me on the phone, it's not fair, it's just breastfeeding mom, can other women come as well? I said, of course, the essence is to bring people to connect, to let them know that this healthy lifestyle is not far-fetched, it's not far. Some people think you need to be in the gym every time for you to
Yeah,
be healthy. So the preaching is that you can actually leave your house, walk to the park,
yeah,
and move your body. You can stay in your garden, move your body, but then when you are doing it, don't do it in isolation. We need a community. We need people
yeah,
who understand the same, have the same vision about it,
yeah,
and then they will encourage you. So bringing them out is letting them talk to others, because during when you give birth, you don't see many people. You just stay indoor with your children. But if you come out and see other women who just gave birth, it reduces postpartum anxiety and depression. I was having anxiety when I just had this baby, even as a coach. Do you understand?
wow,
So when I carry my baby, I cannot sleep during the early stage, few weeks, because there is all these biochemical changes in your body. But awareness reduces it. When you come out, you interact with other people and you tell them, maybe people who just had their babies. It was so interesting that 3 weeks old postpartum babies came, 6 weeks, because women want to come out. But they are worried, what do we do with our babies? But I told them, come with your babies. Just
Yeah.
come as you
Yeah.
are. So this one that we are going to have is to create a bond for the family. A father needs wellness. A father needs to be healthy. A mother needs to be healthy. A healthy home is a healthy community. So if everybody comes out and the children know that when they live this kind of lifestyle, they will be healthier adults, and parents know that this kind of lifestyle is okay, will make my family healthier. It helps us to raise a future that is less, that is free from some diet related diseases,
Okay.
because we
Can
are
I
what we do. Mm.
can I ask what date is this event for the family outing?
It will be on the 11th of July, and we are doing it
So
in an open park,
what's the park details?
non-small park,
Non-small park. So
non-small park, NE4 5LG, something around that.
that
Um,
11th of July,
non-small, opposite 11th of July.
not small
Please,
park. What time are we
I
assembling?
just want to use. We are coming at 12 p.m.
12.
to 5 p.m. It's going to
12 to
be,
5
there will
p.m.
be a variety of fun.
All right. So
It will be
if
a
you're
variety
listening,
of activities.
so if you're listening and you're in the
Mm.
Newcastle area, even if you're not, because I know right
You are
now the
invited.
registration, I know now the registration is at reaching the areas around Northumberland. This is the Voyage, and this is the COG Grand Radio. If you can make it a date, come out, come with your babies, come with your children, come join us at Non-Small Park at the city of Newcastle. It's been nice to have you. So wherever you are, tell us what you think about working out, families and everything, and please make it a date. So yeah, having said that, I'd like to say something. I'd like to say that you're doing a great job. And I like the fact that you're focused a lot more on building the families, building each unit of the families, the dads, the moms, and dad and mom together and the kids. So you're building a holistic family thing. You're also focusing on diet. You're focusing on
Yeah.
wellness. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Workouts and everything.
Yeah.
Then you're also focusing on communication when people have challenges. You are the out of coach roots. You understand? And you are showing all of this. You're showing all of this on social media, which means that we can all follow journeys, your journey as well as the journeys of everybody who is in your team. We see a lot of they're eating what they eat. We see them work out and we're like, wow, and we see the before and we see the after, and we're like, oh, this is significant. So you are showing things that work. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And I've been following you. You're my coach too. So I don't address you as just Mrs. Ruth. I always address you as Coach Ruth because you are an
Wow.
inspiration.
That's
Oh yeah, you're an inspiration. So I just want to say so. I just want to ask just one question so that we'll round up.
okay.
Um, what is your advice? Two sets of people, to the migrants. What is your advice to mothers and fathers that are in the UK and are struggling? Because there's one thing about struggling to pay the bills. There's also the internal struggles that we deal with that we are not able to share. Because I
Yeah.
heard you say something about you go to work, then you have to throw the keys to your husband. That disconnection
Yeah.
did something to you. And a
Yeah.
lot of families are going through it. So we are hearing issues of marriages going through lots of stormy weather.
Yeah.
So what is your advice?
The advice I will give to my younger self, that is the same advice I will give to everybody when you arrived in the UK, is
All
to
right.
take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Slow down. It's We are chasing too much. The system is organized is to put pressure on you, but
Yeah.
we have to create a working system for ourselves. Otherwise, we'll break down. So now, for a family to function where you have to plan and take a holiday, we don't take holidays.
Wow, that's deep.
And then the thing is, if you don't plan ahead to take time to reflect on who you are as a person, you keep running until you run dry. And that's where the problem is. Some people collapse on their way to work because they don't rest. I used to do this. I'll jump from night shift to day shift, right? We are not meant to work like that. Some people have health challenges. Take your health seriously. And how do you take this? Is when you have a time to reflect on who you are as a person. That time only comes when you take a holiday. Everybody has that opportunity to go on holiday. So how do you make sure you don't fall into the temptation of, hello, can you please cover this shift? And you, out of pity, you say, when you calculate, 200 pounds will come out of this shift, and you just run. For you to, because this is the reality, for you to put yourself away from that is at the beginning of the year, every year, from April, okay, every year, I and my husband normally have a talk, a reflection about the previous year, have a plan for the next year, draft a roughly calendar. Some things need to be occurring. That's the system. So he say, okay, in July, or put a month away, or 2 weeks, or even 1 week, in fact a weekend, it can help you, and say, in this weekend, come rain come shine, I have to go either out or have a separate time. Put yourself away, go and bond with your family, bond with your spouse, go on holiday. So when you write down that date, when April comes, that's when you have your holiday, you can now put it on your calendar, right? And say, or you can, some companies, you can take holiday earlier on before that April as well. So the essence is to make you to mark that period, block it off, so that it will enable you to rest. If you don't rest, you can't function. And it will help your relationship, help you to rest. If you rest, you have less headache, you have less all this trouble that we have sometimes, and you'll be able to even think about your purpose. Apart from going to work, what can you do yourself as a person? Who are you? What can you offer? When you have this reflection or this rest, it takes away a lot of pressure from your relationship, from your work life, from your health. And then another thing that we shouldn't play with is, you see, our health. Eat healthy. Don't always, your body is not dustbin. No, you can't just buy anything and put in it. Plan what you eat. Prepare your meal. You can actually prepare your meal 1 week ahead of time. So you don't tell me that you don't have time. The entire week, bring out one day and cook proper meal and store it up in the fridge. It won't go bad in the fridge for 1 week. So that every day as you are going to work, you are carrying a fresh food that you know what you added to work. You eat, buy your vegetables, buy your eggs, treat your body well, do daily workouts, go for a walk. Niburo, you are not move your body. We are human beings.
Join the Bondlife community.
Come to Bondlife. I will coach you, and then I will support you. I will help you to live a healthier life. It's not difficult. Even as Christians, for those of you who are Christian, Bible said a little exercise profited, at least little.
Yeah.
So everything is in the scripture.
Yeah.
And that is it. And thank you for having me.
It has been in fact, it has been an amazing time with you. You're quite an inspiration. Anyone cannot but love you if they get to know you and know you personally. And you're an amazing person and inspiration to both the community. So I am hoping that by virtue of this interview, more people can come to understand, come to know you, benefit from you, as I have benefited also from you, and come the 11th of July, right?
Yeah.
We will be there.
Everybody is invited.
We
There
will
will
be
be a lot
there.
of, yeah,
Every if
a
you're
lot
so
of
so
fun
this is
activities.
this this is a call out to those in Cramlington, Hexham, Northumberland, Berwick upon Tweed, Gateshead, Newcastle, everywhere you can connect. Book it down on your calendars.
Come
Find your
join
way
us.
to the city center. It's a carnival like no other.
Yes.
And yeah, trust me, she's an amazing person. It will be an opportunity to meet her in person, benefit, learn a lot from her. So on that note, I want to say thank you, everyone. This is the voyage, and on this voyage, you have been with Coach Ruth
Ruth,
Wine. Yes. So thank you everyone for your time. Do give us
thank you.
feedback. Tell us where you're listening in from. We do appreciate you. And thank you very much for your time, Coach Ruth.
Thank
And we
you
do hope to
for
see you
having me.
sometime in the future.
I appreciate. I appreciate. Thank you.
All right.
Bye
All
for
right.
now.
Bye all.
Mhm.